Viewer voice messages, speakpipe.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a million messages. We're going to rip through them. Haven't done them in about a week or so interested to hear what you guys have had to say. Let's go ahead and do it. First up, the first call is Trey.
Hey, Mr. James
Hey, man, what's up?
Skrmetta,
What was that?
face of the franchise. Saint no one better.
Nobody.
No, shout out to Darren Sproles, though. What's good, Alvin Kamara? My name's Trey, because I'm the third turd. Sorry, sir, just got carried away. But you're the GOAT, bro. Just got to say. I just got off of the phone with Cam and DeMario D. They say Chase took the torch, jumped off the porch because big dogs got to eat. Now, a serious question, though. If Breeze is going to pass the buck, is Michael Thomas, Sean Payton, they going to bet on Shuck? Who that?
I feel like I'm tripping on acid. I mean, I just got hit in the face with some slam poetry, and it was like Dr. Seuss just rolled up, dropped an entire green eggs and ham booklet on my front door. Unbelievable scenes. I wasn't expecting it. I was not. I didn't see that coming at all. I was like, all right, we'll sit here, get ready, get everything going this morning. Let's go ahead and listen to some voice calls. Boom. Next thing I know, I'm in a lyrical blender. I got shoved into a lyrical locker. Wow. Trey, I appreciate the call, man. Well done. Well done there. An absolute lyricist. Okay. Jazz God is up next. Jazz God, good luck following that.
What's going on, James? This is Jazz God calling
What's
from
up,
Mobile. This is the day of the Senior Bowl, I think.
Okay.
I did not go to the Senior Bowl,
Too
but
cold.
the ironic thing is I live like 3 minutes up the road from Hancock Whitney. And so it's just like I could have gone, should have gone. Southern University's marching band was there, and I'm a big marching band, music guy, so that would have been really cool to see, but it is what it is. But I saw your video about Garrett Nussmeier
Yeah, the Nuss Bus.
and his performance in the Senior Bowl and how it helped his draft stock.
Yeah, true. That was actually done before he got MVP, so kind of played out even better.
And I also, I remember you mentioning that the Saints or the Broncos might be able to make use out of Diego Pavia.
Yeah.
My immediate thought was the Broncos can have him. I mean, man, I get like he may have some physical attributes or, attributes as a player that we might want, but he's got to be the biggest douche I have seen in college football since Johnny Manziel.
Well, true. But you also got to remember, if I'm a $1 billion business, like an NFL team, and I'm trying to find the best players possible, I may let it slide for a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, whatever, to be a douche. And I may say, you know what, this guy's 20, 21 years old. He's got millions of dollars. He's living in Nashville. He's a huge celebrity. He's hanging out with Theo Vaughn, whatever. Like, maybe he got a lot too quick, And I think about what I was like at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. I wasn't a superstar celebrity with millions of dollars hanging out with Theo Vaughn in the middle of Nashville. So I give a little bit of grace for college players in any sport, especially nowadays, being douches, to use your term. But those questions will be answered when you talk to the player. If you talk to the player and do the interviews with the player and you feel like, yeah, man, this guy bad to the bone, like there ain't no fixing this guy. Or if you feel like, yeah, he's just a kid, whatever, like he'll grow out of it. You know what I mean? So I hear you though.
I just hard pass for me with Pavia. But the other thing I wanted to talk about, and this is a question I have for you.
All right.
And this is kind of a football related thing, not just so much a Saints thing, but
sure.
With Doug Nussmeier, he is listed as our offensive coordinator. That seems, that's his position.
Yeah.
But when you're a coordinator like that, where, Kellen Moore's calling the offense, this is Kellen Moore's offense. He's drafting players. He's calling plays and all that kind of stuff. And as a result, all of the talk surrounding coaching has been around Kellen Moore and Brandon Staley, which makes sense. But my question to you is, when you have a coordinator that sits behind a coach and is not calling plays, what is the role of that coordinator within the coaching staff? Because I haven't ever had the answer to that question before. So thank you, James. I appreciate your content as always. Who dat?
Thank you, man. Yeah, so it can be a lot of different things. So, like, obviously, Pete Carmichael was the Saints offensive coordinator with Sean Payton for the better part of 15 years and never called a single play, right? Until he actually became the offensive coordinator, and then it was a complete disaster. They can do a bunch of different things. So the first thing, the easiest thing that they do, or not the easiest, but the most, like, streamlined, is game planning. Watching tape, coming up with a game plan, presenting a, hey, we should do this, or I think we should do this, or, oh, we want to do this. Okay, here's my thoughts of how we can do that. And then to work with and brainstorm with the play caller, in our case, Kellen Moore, but in Pete's case, Sean Payton, kind of work with them to formulate that game plan. Pete was supposed to be, as far as I understand it, he was supposed to be pretty good when it came to the game planning, tape, watching the films, breaking that all down, and just wasn't that good of a play caller. They can also be designated to be a communicator with the team. So think about like practice, for example. If you have your OC or whatever head coach in Kellen's situation, and Kellen's got to worry about everything. So Nussmeier might be the mouthpiece, or might be the teacher of whatever, the quarterbacks or the offense, or like they may be given certain little chunks there where they're a teacher and they're really good at that on the field or the practice field, and good at kind of delivering Kellen's game plan and Kellen's plays and Kellen's plans to the players and helping them kind of learn it and whatnot. So there is more to it than just calling plays, but yeah, I mean, I definitely get where it's like, well, wait a minute, if he's the coordinator but he's not calling plays, what the hell is he doing? So I would say it's a two-part thing, mostly watching film, game prep, planning, game scripts, game design, play design, all that stuff. Even the design of plays. They may be good at designing plays out, which is totally different than calling them during a game. So they can do a bunch of different things. Austin Jacobs is next.
Hey, James.
Hey, man.
I'm sorry, bringing a little heavy. I was just at class, getting them workouts, getting them.
Yeah, man, you do what you got to do.
My career job. But my question is, with this draft, I keep seeing everybody wanting certain players. But honestly, I want your opinion. Sitting at the 8th pick, man, am I the only one that's just happy the Saints have one of the few teams that no matter who they pick, we have a shot at getting a really impactful player, and we can go with it anyways, and it's going to help the team. Like, if they take a wide receiver, like, just imagine that. Let's say they take one of the top 3 wideouts, right? Let's say, whoever it is. Just imagine Vele come back, Olave, and that person on top of that Polk. Like, come on, Shuck could be slaying that. Or you pick, Jeremiah Love, like him and Kamara. That's like Ingram and Kamara all over again. Or, Bush and so-and-so, Like, no matter who they take, I think this can be nasty. I just want your opinion. Do you feel like people, fans, us in general, are getting too tied to one player instead of just like, let's enjoy and see what they pick and just sit back and relax? Or more so look at like some of the sleeper picks, guys that, may not be getting big names right now, but potentially could come in and be like, Danny Stutzman, fall in the later rounds and become, a stud, or a Jonas Sanker, or etc. I just want your opinion on that. And I want your opinion also with losing Jabari Evans and some of the staff, like 2 of the staff members to other teams. Do you think that could make a huge impact on the O-line development and potentially Tyler Shuck too, at losing the passing coordinator?
2 good questions. So the coordinator thing or the coaching staff, as long as we have Kellen and Brandon, I'm fine. Obviously you want to have as much continuity as possible, but I also understand that coaching staffs will have turnover year in and year out. As long as we've got those 2 guys as the visionaries, I think The rest will take care of itself. As far as the draft, I think what happens is people want to do something. Like they want to solve a puzzle. But in the Saints case, and that's what I've said before, it's kind of unique. There isn't a puzzle to be solved. It's not where you got to find the exact player. I last week kept saying like the best thing for a rookie quarterback or the best thing for Tyler Shuck is a good roster. And people kept saying, well, yeah, it seems obvious. It's like, well, how many times have you heard someone say it? You never hear someone say it. They always say they need a weapon. They need a big body receiver. They need an offensive line. They need this. They need that. But if you really simplify it, you just need a good roster. The draft is the same thing. Instead of focusing on, well, should we do Jeremiah Love or Carnell Tate? Should it be Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson? Simplifying it, the actual answer is they should just hit on players. Because the other trap that you have with the draft is believing that every player will be good. We know that is not true. We know every single draft in the first round, you can look at it and be like, what is it? 40% of players are even relevant, right? So it's less about, if they take Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson or Jeremiah Love or Sonny Styles or Arvell Reese or Peter, what they take, any of these guys, they're all going to be all pros, and imagine the team. So, well, hold on a second. We know that's not going to happen. We know all 5 wide receivers that are being talked about right now are not all going to be good. We know that some could be okay, some could be really good, some could be Hall of Fame level, or none could be. Each year is different. So the important thing is less about the individual name, and it's more about hitting the pick. If they take, again, this is obvious, but if you told me that Jeremiah Love is going to be an average running back, well, all of a sudden, no one would say they should draft Jeremiah Love, right? And that absolutely is a possibility. So I think it's more of just sit back, do like this broad homework of like this broad breadth of players, and then hope the Saints nail the pick. As long as they nail the pick, I really don't care what position it is. I would rather have an all-pro Caleb Downs if I knew that Caleb Downs was going to be all-pro versus a average wide receiver in Carnell Tate. That's how it played out. Like, obviously, we don't know beforehand, but it's more about hitting the pick than the specific player to root for, I guess. But I think people just want to solve a puzzle. They look at the draft like a puzzle. But this year especially, it's like there's not much to do. It's more about just kind of looking at all the players and then just waiting for the draft itself. Because the Saints can kind of just do whatever they want. But as long as they hit the player, as long as they nail the pick, I could care less what position it is. All right, next up is Anderson.
Hey James, I'm gonna make this a pretty quick call, man. I just realized I had never really seen anything on this channel about it, or maybe it was back quite a ways. But I just saw an Instagram post by none other than Brett Favre, where he was reminiscing on.
I didn't know Brett had an Instagram.
The game in which he threw the pick to Tracy Porter to seal the Saints going to the Super Bowl. And he basically was just playing victim, talking about how like he was robbed or whatever. I don't know. I mean, the guy makes a living off robbing homeless people or whatever that scandal was. But can you talk a little bit about Bountygate and what exactly happened there? Who knew about it? Who was involved with it? Is it media fugazi? Is it? I mean, what exactly happened there? Who was the mastermind? Whatever, man. I realized how little I actually know about it. But it was just kind of funny to see Brett Favre talk about talk about it on his social media. So I don't have to do a whole video on it if you want to just respond to the voice message. But I don't think I've heard you discuss it. So let me know your thoughts on that, man. Who dat, baby?
Sure. So Bountygate's interesting because if you look back at it now, it's like, well, that wasn't that big of a deal. Why was it such a huge thing? But you got to remember the historical context of where the NFL was, where the Saints were, and where the NFL was during that time period. All right, so at its core, Bountygate was a pay-to-injure incentive program that the NFL alleged the Saints were doing. All right, run by defensive coordinator Greg Williams. Now, Greg was known as kind of this like super eccentric, kind of like he would motivate his players old school style, and this was very much that. So the program offered you, like, players put money into a pool, and then you were given bonuses for knocking players out of games, injuring players, big hits, turnovers, things like that, right? At the same time, the NFL was under massive scrutiny for concussions and player safety. So the Saints, the NFL's best team at that time, having a bounty program where they are not only encouraging, but literally paying players to injure other players, knock other players out, hurt other players, whatever, was a huge no-no for the NFL, right? The NFL is trying to clean itself up, trying to say, concussions, we got it under control, we're protecting the players, whatever. All the while, you got your Super Bowl champion saying, hey, we'll give you $10,000 if you knock that player unconscious, whatever. So the NFL comes down hard on Bountygate, and that's when you get Williams gets an indefinite suspension, Loomis gets like 8 games, Payton gets suspended for the entire season. So it was pretty much they really, really laid down a heavy punishment to the Saints to tell all the other teams, if you're doing this, you better cut it out. All right, so the Saints were absolutely made an example out of to try and stop everything else happening. Players said, like, other teams do this, but you know how that is. I mean, it's the one that gets caught that gets the worst punishment, So an interesting thing, though, is that during the investigation there wasn't really any evidence. It was all like player testimony, meeting notes, stuff like that, but there wasn't like a hard evidence for the actual bounty system. So, but that's what happened, and yeah, it was just classic, making an example out of the Saints so the rest of the NFL stops doing it. So but that's what it was. All right, I hope that answered your question. I might do a video on it. That's something definitely we could do in the off season. All right, next up is Billy.
Hey, what's up, James? Or
what's up,
should I say the face of the franchise, of course. First time calling in here. I found your channel this past off season and have really enjoyed the content. You do a great job covering our Saints, so we appreciate it and keep up the great work. And by the way, a fellow wrestling fan here, wouldn't mind if you brought that wrestling channel back to life. You definitely have a listener over here if you did.
Well, I might. The Royal Rumble was Saturday. Watched the Royal Rumble, so maybe I'll do I'll do a Royal Rumble recap review type video in the next couple of days here, my friend.
But that's another conversation for another day. I wanted to call in today and talk about Tyler Shuck, as if we haven't talked about him enough. But yeah, as much as I am a diehard Saints fan, I might be even more so a diehard Louisville Cardinals fan. I'm a U of L alumni. I've had season tickets for the football team multiple times in years past, so I was probably one of the only Saints fans that jumped off my couch in joy when we drafted Tyler Shuck, and it was really tough this whole offseason kind of seeing, Saints Twitter hate on the pick and, have their concerns over it. But I kind of understood at the same time because when he came over in the transfer portal to Louisville, we had a lot of the same concerns, with the injury history and not really, sticking anywhere. So there was
I would be interested, Billy, you might need to set up a speak pipe because I want to send in a question to you. But because we did a tremendous amount of tape watching after the pick. When the pick happened, obviously there were red flags, there were concerns. We watched a bunch of highlight videos. We watched a bunch of game tape. We watched a bunch of breakdowns. And to me, he looks totally different than he did at Louisville. The way he plays, he eliminated all of the risky throws, crazy throws. He eliminated, I'll tell you the biggest thing he eliminated. If you go back and look at those Louisville highlights, he is throwing everything falling away from the play. He's throwing everything rolling away from the play, falling backwards, not even looking sometimes. And in the videos we broke down, I kept saying, this is cool because it was completed. The last thing I want is my quarterback throwing the ball while rolling away from the hit in the NFL. That's not going to work. All right. And he doesn't do that ever. ever. I have not seen him do that one time this season. So I'm interested to hear what you would say about the difference in the player, and maybe you say in this voice message, but the difference in the player that you saw at Louisville and then playing in New Orleans.
A lot of the same concerns, but then he definitely proved himself once he got on that field, and I was confident that that was going to be the case in New Orleans as well. And it's obviously been very rewarding to see that take sort of come to fruition. But, even before the Saints drafted him, when we're getting into the draft process, he's rising up the boards and all that. Me and my fellow Louisville Cardinals fans would talk about what his NFL potential is. And I would always say, look, I don't know if this means he's going to be a great pro, but one thing I can say about Shuck is it's the most confident that I've been in a quarterback that plays for one of my teams since Drew Brees. And I say that in the sense of when he drops back to pass, at Louisville and wins, I always have just felt super confident that he's going to make a play. I'm not holding my breath, like I was when Derek Carr was dropping back or Jameis Winston or, even Taysom Hill. You're always kind of like skeptical of like, all right, what are they seeing? Well, what's going to happen here? But with Shuck, it just feels like he just throws the ball with a lot of conviction. And that at any point he can make that big play. That's not to say he's not going to throw a pick or two. That's obviously the quarterback position, but just have a lot of confidence in him when I'm watching him play, and so excited that it's for my New Orleans Saints now as well. So just wanted to, kind of get your take on that. Is it my Louisville goggles sort of blinding me in that, bias and whatnot? But do Saints fans feel the same way? Is this the most confident you've been in the quarterback since Drew Brees? That's all I got. I'll hang up and listen. Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. It's still early for sure. But, and I've talked about this before, where like there's certain players like on 3rd and 7, right? Like when they drop back, there's certain quarterbacks where you're feeling pretty good about the play as the play's developing. You're expecting them to navigate the pocket. You're expecting them to be calm, cool, collected, make the throw, whatever. Like you said, have some conviction with the play. And Shuck is one of those guys. I have full faith when it's 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, 2nd and 10, whatever, and he drops back. I've got full conviction that he's going to, or I have full belief that he's going to drop back, see what's going on, and make the right play. Will he take sacks? Will he fumble the ball? Will he have picks? Sure. But everyone does, So, and there is absolutely a difference. Like if you watch certain players, you just know, like I don't know if it's a confidence thing or if they're just not seeing things, but you can feel it. And I feel totally comfortable with Shuck. It's only been 9 games. So we'll see how this season plays out. But if it plays out the same, then yeah, I mean, that's like one of the main things you want in a quarterback is that ability to command the play, see the play through, and Chuck certainly does. So, all right, good call, man. Good call. Appreciate the perspective there. All right, next up is Cool Sports Rhymes guy.
James.
What's up,
face
man?
of the franchise.
Yes.
Is the Cool Sports Rhymes guy once again. I think I have a good second verse for your cool rhyme.
All right.
Let's see what you think about it.
Go ahead.
But it goes like this.
I got a lot of rhymes today.
He has the unique style of critiquing others' videos. He has the greatest content, so don't mistake him for any of the average Joe.
There you go. I like that.
9 out of 10 times, he'll tell you exactly how the story goes.
What happened to the other 10%?
That's it. I think it's a good, cool second verse for your cool rhyme. But I just watched your DeMario Davis video with Kay Adams.
Yep.
Man, I hope that DeMario Davis stays with us. He's one of my favorite players of all time, so I would definitely be disappointed if he left, especially since I believe that we are on the way back to being playoff contenders once again. And DeMario is the kind of guy that does a good job of keeping his body in shape, so I can see him playing at least another 2 years. I would love to see him make another playoff run or 2 or 3 with us. And DeMario, not only is he a dog, he's one of the best linebackers in the league, but he's also a big locker room leader as well. So he brings a lot more than just the production on the field.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why it's just hard for me to believe he's going to go. It's hard for me to believe he's going to go because, like you said, he's such a big locker room guy. He's such a big piece of this culture, like that Kellen and Brandon Staley have already built. Like he's a big cog in that. He plays on the field at a level as good or better than almost every linebacker in the NFL, and he's huge in the city, and he's big with community work and things like that. So it's just hard for me to believe he would want to leave. And I don't think the team wants him to leave. So I think he'll be back. Until I see it otherwise, I'm going to believe he'll be back.
And, man, so I don't know. I hope however long that DeMario decides to keep playing, however many years he wants to keep playing, whether it's 2, 3, 4 years or whatever, I hope that Kellen Moore and Mickey Loomis make sure that those years that he does keep playing are with us in the black and gold. So I hope they do everything they can to try to keep him with us. But I also understand that it's a business, and I understand the business side of things. So if he does decide to leave, then I would wish him the best. But I could definitely see him being a missing piece to some of these other teams when it comes to improving their defense. One team that comes to my mind is the Buffalo Bills, for example. In my opinion, the Buffalo Bills defense is not that great.
Their pass defense is fine. Their run defense was absolutely vomit-inducing this year.
I mean, they do have a few dogs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they don't have any dogs on their defense. I mean, they do have Joey Bosa and Tre'Davious White, but I mean, I don't think that's enough. I think they need more on that defense. I mean, because they definitely don't do a good job of backing Josh Allen up. I mean, even though they lost that playoff game, they still scored 30 points, and the defense gave up 33. Although you could argue that the turnover was a big reason why they gave up those points. If it wasn't for the turnover, maybe they wouldn't have gave up 33 points. But they definitely need help on that defense. And I'm sure you remember those shootouts that they had with Patrick Mahomes in the past, and how the defense, he would score 40, but the defense might give up 50. But anyway, I agree with you. I think when you listen to the interview, I think that there's a good chance that he will be back with us.
Yeah.
I think the signs or the percentages are more in our favor than not. When you look at how positive he was talking about the team, and when you look at how he talked about how he still communicates with Brandon Staley in the off season, like why would he still be talking to Brandon Staley if he didn't want to stay with us? And it's not like he has any animosity towards the team, towards the coaches or whatever.
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense for a player who is not under contract to not say they're going to play for a team they're not under contract with. Like it would make as much sense for DeMario to say, "Yeah, I'll be a New Orleans Saint," as it is for him to say, "I'll be a Buffalo Bill." He's not under contract with you. So I totally understand him saying, "I'm going to play in the NFL," instead of saying, "I'm going to play for the New Orleans Saints."
But DeMario is a high character kind of guy anyway.
Yeah, highest character.
I guess we'll see, man. Like I said, I hope he stays. But if he does leave, then it would definitely make linebacker a bigger need for us.
Yeah.
And it would definitely put somebody like Arvell Reese even more on the radar if he wasn't that high on the radar before.
Yeah, if he does go, all of a sudden Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese are like the main guys at pick 8.
But anyway, that's all I got for today. As always, keep up the great work, and I will continue to enjoy the awesome content.
I appreciate it, man. Always appreciate the call. Always appreciate the call. All right, next up, Skywalker. Luke? Anakin?
What's up, James? Best in the business, face of the franchise.
God, I love being me.
It's always a pleasure to talk with the one and the only.
No one does it better.
Just woke up here on this crisp Wednesday morning.
Open the windows.
Out here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go Tigers.
Well,
opened up the old Instagram and saw a little recent interview with the man, the myth, the legend, DeMario Davis.
Oh, DeMario.
Not saying that you're not also the man, the myth, the legend, but
it's okay. Yeah, I understand.
Got to give DeMario his flowers too.
No doubt.
And just based on the interview and the way he was talking, it seemed like he was really questioning moving on from the Saints and free agency. He just specifically said, the NFL needs more leaders on their teams. Some of those
Yeah.
defenses out there, and just listening to that broke my heart. I really don't want DeMario to go, especially with this season coming up. I feel like we need him in the locker room. He's just like the leader of our team, and it would really suck to see DeMario go. But if that's what he wants to do, we can't force him to stay. But I just wanted to ask you if, DeMario leaving, what this would do for the team, what this would do for the draft. If we look at another linebacker, maybe somewhere in the first round, second round. And I just kind of wanted to get your opinions if you saw the interview or not. And yeah, if he does leave, it'll be a sad day. But hope you're having a good day. Keep up the content, man. Best Saints content in the business, man.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
man.
day.
Best content in the business, really, just kind of in general. But yeah, I mean, we ended up doing a whole video on this. So obviously, if you want to see my reaction to the full interview, go check it out. But I don't want him to leave for sure. I'll tell you this though: if he does leave, it's some insane confidence that the Saints have in their current linebacking room. That's some insane confidence in Pete Werner and Danny Stutzman and even those Isaiah Stallbert and whoever else that you're willing to let DeMario walk. And yes, then Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, even Jacob Rodriguez, players like that, linebacker becomes get that room, get some depth in that room, bring people in. That becomes one of the top positions to fill if he does leave. So I think he'll stay. I do agree with him, what he said in the interview, where a lot of defenses absolutely could use his services. A lot of, especially playoff teams. I mean, the 49ers. Absolutely, Fred Warner going down, he would have been perfect for that team. So, Cool Sports Run guy mentioned the Bills. He'd be perfect with the Bills. So, and maybe he does want to be wined and dined. Maybe he does want to go see what the Chiefs are working with, what the Bills are working with, what the Ravens are working with. You never know, what someone wants or just wants to experience and all that stuff. But I just think it makes too much sense for him to stay with the Saints. So I hope he does. All right, next up is Chauncey.
Yo, it's
What's up,
Chauncey
man?
Phillips, not to be confused with Chauncey Billups. I
Yeah,
liked
God.
that.
Yeah.
And the other stuff you said. Good looking. But I had a couple questions for you. I wanted to know, what do you feel about Alvin Kamara and what
Tough time for like Chauncey Phillips, my man, to like try and get in a poker game. All of a sudden you get on the phone, hey man, I got Chauncey Phillips over here wants to play poker. It's like, what? Hell no. It's like, no, not Chauncey Billups, Chauncey Phillips. So tough, man, tough time right
what's
now.
going to happen with him? He's been one of my favorite players since Drew Brees and Reggie Bush and Marcus Colston and Aaron Brooks, Deuce McAllister. I put Alvin Kamara up there with all those guys.
Man, Aaron Brooks just got lumped in with some real studs. Like Aaron Brooks is probably sitting there like, whoa, he just mentioned me. Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Marcus Colston, Aaron Brooks. Wait, what? What?
And I want to know, what do you think? Because I know we still have Miller. And
Yeah.
I personally would like to give Miller one more chance because he's very explosive. And I do like the other guys that we have in the backfield that we just added. And another thing I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about the Eagles organization looking for another offensive play caller? I personally think they should be looking for another quarterback. It's the 7th or 8th offensive play caller. You guys are getting to the playoffs. You guys are almost making it to the Super Bowl every other year, it seems like. Like, I'll take that. It seems like they're kind of ungrateful, if you ask me. And I wanted to just tell you, fan to fan, Saints fan to Saints fan, a little.
All right, real quick, let me do the Kendra thing. I keep saying this, and I love Kendra like a brother. He will be on his 4th year. Okay? Like, I think people still think Kendra is, a rookie. This will be his 4th season with the team. You're talking about giving him another chance and all that stuff, right? If you look at, let's go to his game logs. Okay, this is last year. So his best game was 11 for 65. All right. 2024, his best game was 9 for 46. Hit 2023, his best game was 13 for 73. All right. Say what you want, but in 3 years, okay, in 3 seasons, Kendre has never ran for more than 75 yards in a game. He's ran for over 50 yards in a game twice, 65 and 73. All right. So he's like the perfect example of this like hypothetical, he's dynamic, he's explosive, he's whatever, and people are holding on to that. But like I point to Audric Estime, okay, my guy. Audric Estime in 2 games has had the same amount of games over 50 yards that Kendre has in his entire career. Okay? And Audric Estime has played 2 seasons. He's 22. He's younger. So, in my mind, like I'm almost more willing to turn the page and see what my guy Audric Estime has got going on. Right? The 14 for 94 for 6.7 yards to carry a 32-yard touchdown or 32-yard run and a touchdown. That is better than any game Kendre Miller has had his entire career with the Saints. So I understand the he's dynamic, he's whatever. Let's just see. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, 18. So how about that? I think a lot of people would have been surprised there. The longest run Kendre Miller has had in his entire career is 18 yards. I think a lot of people would have been surprised with that because he's just thought of as like a super dynamic, super explosive guy, but he really hasn't done anything super dynamic and super explosive to the level of my boy Audric Estime. 18 yards. That's his longest rush in his career. Yeah, just double checked it to make sure. 18 yards. All right. So, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not saying release the guy or whatever, but giving him 4 years. Let's see. Let's see what Evan Hull's long was. 8. Evan Hull's long is 8. Kind of surprised, honestly, because it seemed like every single Evan Hull run was 1 carry for 1 yard. He was an absolute grinder. Let's see what Devin Neal's is. Let's go to this. Let's see if Devin Neal ever had a long of more than 18. Devin Neal, 21. 21 was his long. So, something to think about.
So, insight. My cousin is Brandon Browner.
Okay, safety?
I wanted to tell you the last time I saw him was the day after the Saints cut him. Because, he eventually played for the Saints.
Yeah.
The last time I saw him was the day after we cut him. And I definitely had on my New Orleans Saints hat.
Tough.
And yes, we're cousins, but he did not know I was a Saints fan.
Damn.
My whole family is Cowboys fans. I'm from Oklahoma. Wow. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you that stuff and just tell you that about me. Have a good one, my boy James.
The sneaky Oklahoma Saints fan. Was Browner, was he a safety or a cornerback? What was he? Pretty sure he was a safety, right? Cornerback? Who knows? They move around. You're a safety, you're a cornerback. Who the hell even knows? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's wild. Tough scenes for Brandon. All of a sudden, you're face to face with a team that cut you. But hey, it's a business. It is what it is, right? All right. Next up is Jackson.
What's going on, James? I'm a huge fan of the show.
Thank you.
I'm leaving Cane's right now.
Okay,
go
Caniac?
home and just absolutely down this Caniac combo. No coleslaw, extra toast, with 2 extra cane sauces and a large.
See, I do no toast, double coleslaw.
I see.
Real sicko order. You say a high C?
But I have
Jesus.
a question for you here. I'm just curious because I remember you saying a few weeks ago, I think, that Drew Brees is your second highest quarterback of all time in like an all-time list.
Yes.
And I was just curious what your top 5 list is for quarterbacks all time. And I'm also interested to see what you think of my list. My list would probably...
Let me do mine before I hear yours. Off the top of my head, I would go Brady, enormous gap, then Breeze at 2. Probably... Here's a problem I have with like historical rankings is I think at a certain level you hit like critical mass where a player like Joe Namath or Johnny Unitas or whatever, it's like they shouldn't even be on the list. You know, like Johnny Unitas wouldn't even like someone, you know, what the hell? Like Sam Darnold is way better than Johnny Unitas, right? So it's like I understand their place in that in a ranking, you know, like but at a certain level, I think you got to drop them off. And so I hesitate to put really old quarterbacks on there. At this point, the furthest back I'm willing to go is like the Montana, Elway, Marino, and Elway was you know more recent than Montana, but like those kind of guys. So, and I say all that to say that I think you do have to still respect like Montana's Super Bowl stuff and all that. So off the top of my head, I'd probably go Brady, huge gap, Breeze. I think you probably put Montana at 3 still. I think Peyton. Now this is where it gets tough. Okay, five is kind of tough. Let me do a top 10, and then we'll talk from there. All right, so the 10 are the ones that I would immediately get into the conversation. It's like Breeze is in the conversation, Peyton's in the conversation, Brett's in the conversation, Marino's in the conversation, Brady's in the conversation. Well, that's not Mahomes. Mahomes is in the conversation. So let's just pretend this is Patrick Mahomes, unless I see Patrick Mahomes down here. Elway's in the conversation. Montana's in the conversation. Oh, there's Mahomes. Let's see. Rodgers is the back end of the conversation. Archie on here. Let's see. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, let me see who I'm missing here. How did some of these guys get added? Like Matt Hasselbeck's on here. Let's see. I think, who am I going to throw in here for a 10? I think we're good. Pretty much. Is that right? So Breeze. So in my mind, I was thinking, when I was thinking top 5, I was thinking you have Brady, you have Breeze. Then I think you have a conversation of 3 and 4 would be like the next level. Or I think you have Brady by himself. Then I think you have Breeze. This combination is like Breeze. It's like Breeze, Peyton, or Montana. Is like, okay, somewhere in that neighborhood. Some people will say Manning. Some people say Montana. Whatever. Some people say Breeze. Then you got like your Montana, Favre, Elway tier. Favre probably should be up there. I mean, you got a 3-time MVP, back-to-back-to-back, Super Bowl winner. Lost another Super Bowl, so could have had 2 Super Bowls. Then, you know, I mean, with the Vikings, he almost goes to another Super Bowl. Before he got hurt with the Jets, he was in the MVP conversation there. Had every passing record possible, the longevity, all that stuff. Like, okay, he should be in there. Marino might be the best just quarterback, but never won anything. And Elway was similar to Marino, but won stuff. And then you have the new guys who, like Rodgers is definitely top 10, but is he top 5? Probably not. Mahomes is well on his way to being top 5, but I don't know if he's there yet. I think he will be. So if I did a top 5 list real fast, it would probably be This would probably be the list right now. It would probably be something like this. It would probably be Brady, Breeze, Manning, Montana, Favre would probably be my top 5 right now. I could absolutely listen to like Montana 3, Brady or Manning 4. I could listen to Montana 2, Brady 3, Breeze 4. I could listen to basically any combination of 2, 3, 4. But I would have it Brady, Breeze, Montana, Manning, Favre as my top 5. And then we'd have Elway, Mahomes, Marino, Rodgers would probably be that next wave. And then I had to think about whoever 10 is. This is an unbelievable list down here. I mean, you got Mark Brunell. You got Donovan McNabb, Drew Bledsoe. Some crazy players down here.
Probably be Tom Brady number 1. Now, let's say we're not including current NFL players, and I'd put Tom Brady 1. I'd say 2 and 3 is interchangeable with Breeze and Manning.
Okay.
And then I would also kind of say 4 and 5 is interchangeable with Montana and Rodgers. I'd probably put Rodgers 4, Montana 5. But now, if we are including...
That's way up there for Aaron. I mean, I think 4 all-time is a lot, but I wouldn't, I think there's definitely an argument to be made there.
NFL players, which basically I'm saying if we're including Pat Mahomes, I would put... Now, all my friends get mad at me for this because we're all Saints fans, but I'd honestly put Mahomes above Manning and Breeze and all of them. I'd probably put Mahomes at 2 right now. I know it's hard to kind of judge a guy that's in the NFL right
now. Mahomes is... I'm kind of docking him because he's still playing. Because if I put him 2, then, he still has his career. So I'm giving him, it's almost like grading on a reverse curve where he's, what do I have him at? 7? He's 7, but he's on that trajectory of 2. He's absolutely on the trajectory of 2. 100%. And if he just kind of extrapolates what he's done so far out another however many years he plays, I think he will eventually be 2 for sure. I mean, I'd be very comfortable saying that.
But I still think if he retired right now, he'd still be number 2. And I think he has a really good chance to be number 1, depending what he does, obviously. I don't even think he needs to get to 7 rings to be ahead of Tom Brady. I think if he gets 5 rings or something.
Well, the thing with Brady... let's do a comparison. The problem with Brady is that he played so long that he also has all these stats. He's got 7 championships, 15 Pro Bowls, 6 All-Pros, 3 MVPs, 5 Super Bowl MVP. He has all that, but he played for such a long time. He's got so many yards. Him and Breeze, he's got almost 10,000 more yards than Drew Brees. You look at touchdowns. He has almost 100 more touchdowns than Drew Brees. So he has 1,100 yards rushing, right? So he has this crazy winning stuff with the rings and the AFC Championship games and all that stuff. But then he's got all these stats. You look at Mahomes. He is 50,000 more than that. He's 54,000 yards away. 54,000 yards away from Tom Brady. He is almost 400 touchdowns away from Tom Brady. So, and that's why I say there's such a gap with Brady, is that he is hard to catch stat-wise, but he's also hard to catch accolade-wise. I mean, it's a different era and whatever, but Favre and Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, you look at his numbers and Tom Brady's numbers, it's not even in the same ballpark, right? And they play relatively in the same era. Brady's got 80 more wins than him. Brady has 18,000 more passing yards. Brady's got 110 more passing touchdowns with 40 less interceptions. Brady having 5 Super Bowl MVPs. Brady having the same number of Super Bowl MVPs as Breeze, Mahomes, Favre, and Manning combined is nuts. His numbers are just so insane that it's really hard to get to 1. It's not hard for Mahomes to get to 2 if you look at it if you look at everything, because it's much easier to get to Breeze's accolades. Mahomes already has 3 championships, 3 MVPs. He's already getting there with the accolades with Breeze. If he's just in the same ballpark of the stats, he'll be above Breeze, right? But can he get to Brady with the stats, with the accolades, with the longevity? We'll see. I mean, these guys, especially, for the era Favre played in, I mean, he's putting up some numbies. Putting up some absolute numbies, for sure. And I'm pretty cool. I'm cool with this list.
And maybe wins another MVP, and I'm sure he'll be up there with all the stats and records of passing yards and touchdowns and stuff. I think he's a great chance for number 1. But I guess my combined list right now would be Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, Breeze, Manning, or Manning, Breeze, and then Rodgers.
Oh, I forgot Rodgers. I knew there was someone else forgetting Rodgers. Let's look at Rodgers. So where he stacks up. Because Rodgers, let's see here. Yeah, so I mean, Rodgers falls off, or not falls off, but he's not there with either, right? He's there with the MVPs. He has 4 MVPs, but he's got less yards than Favre and Manning. He's got less touchdowns than Manning. He's right there with Favre. How about Favre throwing 230 more interceptions than Aaron Rodgers? But you can see the stats are a little bit closer in that situation. Favre's got more wins. So you can see what's going on. But Rodgers, if you look at him and Peyton, I don't think you can put him above Peyton if you just look at those two. Peyton has 5 MVPs. Rodgers has 4. Peyton has 2 championships. Rodgers has 1. Peyton has more wins, more yards, more touchdowns. So I think Rodgers falls a little short of all these guys. Even Breeze. The argument would be the MVPs. Because they both have a Super Bowl win, both have a Super Bowl MVP. Breeze has some Player of the Years, Offensive Player of the Years. Breeze has 14,000 more passing yards. Breeze has 50 more touchdowns. Breeze has 9 more wins. So I think just if you look at just Manning and Breeze, I think Rodgers falls. And I would have him below Brett because of the era. And then you got to factor in Montana, Elway, Marino, how some of those guys. And I'm pretty sure this database only goes back to 92, I think. So you can't really do the historic comps with like on this screen.
Or Montana. I'm just curious what your list is. Thank you, and I hope you have a good one.
Great call. Love it. Love talking the historical stuff, the historical rankings. I haven't done a quarterback ranking in a while, so had to pull it from the old memory banks. Marino's the guy, though. Marino's the guy where it's man, if he would have just won something, if he would have just won a Super Bowl, all of a sudden he jumps up tremendously. But when you're stacking up greats like this, you got to win something, Great call, man. Great call. All right, next up, and then we'll wrap this one up. Let's do Michael Z. The Z-Man.
Hey, what's going on, James?
What's up, man? How's it going?
There's so much to take in from this season, and my favorite part is probably Chase Young's resurgence.
Oh.
And this defensive turnaround overall. I think Young had an 18% pressure rate, and PFF has him at 12 sacks.
Chase Young had a higher pressure rate this season than than Myles Garrett.
And we know he missed 5 games.
Yeah.
So given our expectations of us winning more games next year, teams will be throwing more, we think. But I think Chase has an
That right there, you just gave me goosebumps. You just gave me freaking goosebumps because that's what we preach on this channel. Thinking next level, thinking a tier, like, okay, thinking context, thinking, okay, this is how this is going to play out. What did he say, ladies and gentlemen? Next year, we'll be winning more, thus teams we're playing will be throwing more, thus more opportunities for Chase Young to get more sacks. Extrapolate that out with him missing 5 games this year. That's how you do it. I mean, ESPN 1045 in Baton Rouge needs to give you a call, Michael, because you're already thinking at a different level than their entire show, every show on that schedule.
Opportunity to be on an even bigger sack projection than this year, and we'll be staring down the barrel of an elite season from them. 18% pressure rate is amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I had a Falcons fan tell me that their rookie edge rusher had a more impressive year than Chase, and I just laughed.
They don't know what the hell's going on. You know, like half the stuff I hear, it just makes me sick to my. It just makes me want to vomit all over my keyboard.
I think Audric Estime has earned himself a roster spot.
Yes, Audric underestimated.
Funny, when I first heard of him, I looked him up. I checked out his 40 time, and dude, that shit was slower than my great grandmother's.
Yeah,
it was like a mid 4.7 or something. But
40, I think a 40 is the most overrated metric in all of sports. When the hell does a player ever run 40 yards in a straight line? Like, it's. I know I've talked about this before. The NFL works really, really hard to make all of its stuff like digestible for fans. They want the draft to be the Super Bowl. They want the combine to be a big thing. They want people to watch it and care about it. And the 40 is just such an easy thing to understand. Like, okay, here's him running it. Here's a good time. Go on and go forth, right? But if I was a scout, I'd care way more about, explosiveness, ankle flexion, the cone drill, things like that than I would about the 40 time. Cooper Kupp's a good example too. Cooper Kupp, his 40 was whatever, but his cone drill was nuts. And then you watch him play, and it's like, okay, yep, that's exactly how he plays. Where he's just shifty and he is agile and whatever. So, I mean, the 40 is a terrible metric as far as like forecasting running backs.
30-yard touchdown run against the Titans, and his speed is, I think, maybe a little underrated. He was pulling away from DBs, and on Tyler's pick against the Falcons, he ran down that DB from behind. So I'm a little less harsh on him for being a little slow. Maybe that 40 is just a fluke. I may be wrong, probably am, but I think he has put the best tape on film from any running back we've rolled out this year.
I agree. And Michael, you're seeing things clear. I think just on tape, I think out of all the running backs outside of Kamara, I think Audric Estime has the best tape out of Kendre Miller, Devin Neal, Evan Hull, whoever else.
Maybe apart from Kendre, who was really showing up early on, but he's shown an ability to break tackles, make plays from nothing, and bring value to this passing game. I've been the biggest supporter of drafting Jeremiah Love this coming draft, but I'm honestly okay with the running backs we have. I'm not saying it's the best core in the world, but by any means, I'd love to hear your take on how comfortable you are with this core.
It all depends on Alvin. If you told me we get 100% ready to roll Alvin from a couple years ago, I'd be very comfortable with Alvin Kamara as our 1, Audric Estime is our 2, Kendre Miller, Devin Neal, rotational guys. I'm good with that. If you told me Alvin is hurt or not going to play, or Father Time's got the best of him, I'm a little less because I don't think you can go into it with Audric Estime as your starting running back or Kendre Miller as your starting running back. I think you got to have a 1, whether that's Breece Hall or Jeremiah Love or whatever. But it all depends for me on Alvin.
Kamara, Miller, Neal, and Estime, and who you think will be the most featured guys next season? Are you counting on Kendre to contribute, or are you kind of scratching him off because of his inability to be healthy so far?
Perfect situation. Alvin gets 10 carries. Estime gets 5 carries. Kendre gets 5 carries. Something like that. That's a perfect split where it's like a 2-headed monster but the second head of the monster is actually 2 heads, so really it's 2.5 headed monster. The hell am I talking about? Where it's not a true split between Alvin and Audrey Estime. It's more like a true split between Alvin and the rest of the running back room. I would just kind of rotate in those other guys as needed.
I honestly think we don't touch a wide receiver in this draft at all. I think it'd be a wasted pick. We've got Jalen Polk and Trey Palmer waiting for their opportunity, and I think that really shore up this receiver depth on top of Olave and Vele, obviously. I think we have a huge opportunity to make this defense even more elite and pay a little love to that guard position.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the wide receiver thing, let's just sort of say they get Juwan Jennings in free agency, right? Then all of a sudden your wide receiver room is pretty deep. It's Chris Olave and Devon Vele, and then you have Jalen Polk, you have Trey Palmer, you have Damian Alfred, you've got Juwan Jennings, you got some guys, right? And then it's a lot less of like, okay, well maybe they don't take a wide receiver at all. Now, granted, I could see them if someone like Jacoby Lane falls or whatever. I could see them spending a pick in the second, third, fourth round on a wide receiver, but it's just hard for me given how the team is operating. Like last year, they threw the ball pretty well, and wide receivers were fine when healthy. So I don't know if it's as dire of a need to take one at 8. Depends on how much they like these players, but I'm kind of with you. I could definitely see them passing on a wide receiver.
Given Tyler's play, where would you rank him among the QBs in this league? And what's your expectation for him next year, rank-wise, I guess?
I think I had him at like 17, something like that. I guess I could do one of those. All right, let's just do quarterbacks until we get to Tyler Shuck. Let's see here. Boom. Stafford, Darnold, Lamar, Burrow, Rodgers. Well, Rodgers. Well, we don't know if he'll be back, so we'll take him out of there. Drake May, Mahomes, Herbert. Let's see here. I think this is the conversation, right? Let's put Spencer Rattler in here for Tyler Shuck. Is this right? I think we're good. So I'd have definitely, you're going to have Mahomes, definitely Goff, Williams, Daniels, Baker, Stafford, Burrow, Darnold, Lamar, Allen, Drake, Herbert. So what's 1, 2, 3, 4, and this isn't in a rank. I'm just throwing them out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so now you got to decide. I think you still have Hurts above him. I think you have Jordan Love above him still. Nix is close. I'm kind of higher on Bo Nix than other people. I think Dak, you probably have him above, or Dak would be above him. These other guys. Well, Brock Purdy'd be above him too. Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at the rest of the team. I'm trying to make sure I'm not. I was just kind of going off this list, but I'm making sure this list is right. Oh, Russell would be Jackson Dart. I don't think you have Dart above him. Okay, I hope this list is right. I'm just kind of breezing through this. Then, so what are we at now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Man, did I nail that one? He's in that. I don't think you put him above CJ Stroud yet. It's close, though. Same with Trevor Lawrence. Like, I mean, this is kind of up to you at this point. This is 20. So I'm pretty comfortable. He's somewhere in that 17 to 20 range. Depends on how you feel about Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud. I would think, I mean, he's only played 9 games, so I think you probably have to put him behind these guys. But I think 20 makes sense. Let me make sure I didn't forget anybody. I don't want to mess this up. Let's go. I don't think I did, but let's go to yards. Let's go to regular season. So yeah, we had all these guys. Okay. Yeah, we didn't miss anybody. Yeah. Burrow. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think right now he's probably 20. He's probably right at 20, I would say right now. And the next step would probably be to get past these guys, to get past like Bo Nix, CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence. Then it would probably be to get past Jordan Love. Then Baker. Baker's probably worse than Love. It'd probably be like that. Yeah, so if I was actually doing it, if I'm like real quick, just trying to knock this out, you have like your top tier. Your top tier is Mahomes, because he's Patrick Mahomes. Then your next tier is like Stafford, Burrow, Lamar, Josh Allen. Then your next tier is the Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Drake May tier. Then the next tier is Sam Darnold, Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, probably Brock Purdy. Purdy might be a little bit below that. Then you have Purdy. You have like Purdy, Dak. Then it's probably Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, and then Trevor Lawrence, Bo Nix, CJ Stroud. Yeah, this is how I would do it. This is my real quick. This is my top 20, I guess. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford, Lamar Jackson. We'll put Stafford at 2 for right now. Mahomes, Stafford, Burrow. Put Allen there. So Mahomes. Yeah, okay. Maybe like this. And maybe like that. Mahomes, Stafford, Burrow 3, Allen 4, Lamar 5, Drake 6, Caleb 7, Daniels 8, Darnold 9, Herbert 10, Goff 11, Dak 12, Brock Purdy 13, Jordan Love 14, Jalen Hurts 15, Baker Mayfield 16, Trevor Lawrence 17, Bo Nix 18, CJ Stroud 19, Tyler Shuck 20. So these are like the tiers he would have to climb to get to wherever. I feel pretty good about this list, just ripping it off like that.
Finally, who do you think the Falcons are going to draft in the first round this year? Thanks.
God.
Hey, what's going on, Gene?
Oh, man. Got their ass. Got them, boy. That was nice. That was absolutely nice. Man, just clip the Falcons with the first rounder. What's their first round pick now? Or I guess the Rams' first round pick. What's it at? Let's see. What did they give up? The 13th? God, man. Imagine if you're the Falcons and you're just like, everything that happened, you released Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix sucks, and now you gave up the 13th pick. Man, oh man. Man. Yeah. Oh man, that was a good one, Michael. All right. Good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for calling per usual. We'll be ripping these all off season. So keep calling. Keep calling in. Have your voice heard by the face of the franchise. All right. Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you in the next video. Peace.